Clickbait. Bro, it's definitely BrainBot. I swear he is noob. I hate to be that guy. Then don't. Isn't this just Hello friend, I am a cheating device seller from China. Oh, the dichotomy of man. Apparently, some people think I'm cheating. So, before I finish my non-cheating aimbot, let's see why it is non-cheating and not just clickbait. Before I get started, I just want to preface that I'm not really bothered by these comments, so don't attack these people. Last video, I even encouraged people to leave a comment with their opinions. I did ask for people to provide quotes from the terms of service if possible, but it's unsurprising nobody did, given some people didn't even provide grammatically correct sentences. I swear he is noob. The first thing people repeatedly claimed was that I made a color bot, trigger bot, or an external aimbot, all of which subcategories of an aimbot. Well, last video I openly stated that I made the Google definition of an aimbot, so I don't mind openly stating that I made a color bot. So what? Nowhere in the TOS does it say that any of those are cheating, so is Riot Games stupid? No. Not explicitly mentioning those terms is the smart thing to do. By having a general description, people can't argue that, for example, an aim assist isn't cheating. They take away your most useful tools and manually ban anything that's still problematic. Let's look at a commenter's example to see why this works. So basically, a color trigger is not considered cheating? Well, it depends. Let's see what it's doing. Since it doesn't read or write memory, nor affect Riot servers, yeah, so far so good. It just sends a mouse click. Well, it's now emulating signals to the Riot services, and it's cheating. It actually doesn't even matter that it's when a crosshair is on an enemy, and that's a good thing. It filters out every kind of bot, not just aimbots. The next thing people were concerned about was the fact that I was connecting two mice to Valorant. And you're right, Valorant does not allow you to connect two mice at the same time. Luckily, I never did this in-game in the previous video, and I've changed the design so that it only uses one mouse now. The final major complaint had to do with the definition of communicating with the server. I won't read out the whole comment, but the main problem seems to be whether indirect communication still counts as communication. But that completely comes down to opinion. I'm not saying my opinion is better than this commenter's, but I'm going to consider it's not cheating until Riot says otherwise. A final thing I'll say before moving on to the project to make sure everyone's happy is that this aimbot is not going to be breaking the player's version of the terms of service. Or in other words, it's not going to give me an unfair advantage. Think I'm lying? Ignoring the fact that this is literally made out of Lego, you have to remember that the aimbot will have my mouse, so I won't be able to look around manually. If someone is out of my direct field of view, there is literally nothing I can do, which sounds more like an unfair disadvantage to me. This project is meant to be for fun and educational purposes, to prove that a non-cheating aimbot, something that I agree is absurd, is possible. Oh, and for the comments that are the complete opposite, no, you can't download it, and you can't help me change that. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the biggest change. Unfortunately, I can't use two treadmills, so we're going to have to change the design, but not too much. Technoblade explained why math makes you better in Minecraft. Now I'll show you why it helps with Valorant. Before, we were using two treadmills to replicate a coordinate system, an X and a Y axis, but instead we can use a lesser known system of polar coordinates. Polar coordinates is a system that uses one direction, the distance from the center, and angle. It's basically like a radar. Knowing this system, it's easy to see that we can get a full range of motion with one treadmill if we rotate the mouse on that treadmill. To achieve this, I was going to put the motor above the mouse and just attach it. But Lego wasn't going to cut it for this. Instead, I decided to scan the mouse and 3D print a perfect attachment. To do this, I used an app on my phone that took a bunch of different pictures of the mouse I was going to be using from a bunch of different angles, and somehow made a 3D model out of that. However, the first time I did this, the surface looked about as smooth as British teeth. This is because the mouse was shiny and it's hard to see depth on shiny surfaces. So all I had to do was put colored chalk on the mouse and retake all the pictures. And it looked almost perfect. I passed it through a decimate and subdivision surface modifier in Blender, and it was good enough. Using this model, we can make a harness, add a shaft, and start printing. You might be wondering why the attachment point is so beefy, so let me share with you my thought process. What will you be having today, sir? Oh yes, I have the mouse harness with extra beef. Excellent decision. They'll be right out.
6.5 hours later.
Here is your mouse harness with extra beef. What is this? This is clearly burnt. I'll have you know I'm going to leave you a bad review. Yeah, I'm not really sure why that was, but the print is done, and it did come out quite badly. Luckily, there's enough usable surface area where I think it'll work out. Next, I had to attach this to the treadmill you saw last time, but honestly, seeing might have been a bit of an overstatement, because with that camera quality, there's not much you can see. So, I've upgraded to this brand new, 13 years ago, camera that I clearly still don't know how to use. I'll work on that, but now I'm working on scavenging one of the treadmills to upgrade the other one. And well, I'll let you see, or rather, squint for yourself. And voila, I made a donut that should theoretically be able to move my mouse anywhere, or everywhere. The last thing worth mentioning about the mechanical part of this aimbot is this little wheel inside the treads, and how it's responsible for making the mouse better. To understand this, let's look at the treads. It's obvious that to get a good mouse reading, we need the top of the treads to be straight. The easiest way to do this is to keep the treads in tension. However, just a bit of force will bend the treads. To fix this, we just have to keep the treads even tighter, which is surprisingly difficult when everything has to be attached to a motor. This would be bad if it wasn't because of that little wheel. Engineers call these tensioners, and they, well, keep the treads in tension. So the wheel doesn't technically make the mouse better, it just makes it easier for it to read a signal. Okay, since every piece of the puzzle works, without further ado, here I recorded that 2 weeks ago. Help, I forgot about every engineer's final boss. Integration hell. Integration hell is basically that Karen on Twitter that's like, you know motors, sometimes you really make my head spin. Good one, mouse.
That's offensive.
Oh, don't worry, we work great together.
No, you don't, and I'm offended for you.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
I won't bore you with the details, so here's the fast version. 4 things overheated, even though there are only 3 things that can. The mouse exists, and that's clearly a problem, so now it's upside down. I'm not going to elaborate. The program does what I tell it to do instead of what I want it to do. If you see my hand in the machine, I'm not helping it. I'm just pressing left click to shoot, because I didn't think about rebinding it. Oh, and another week has passed. Now, we can really...
Actually...
Shut up! Just let them enjoy this.
Come on, you were doing it. Please. Turn a little bit more. Oh! No, don't move, don't move. Yes!
Any cheaper. Just me and a bottle of scotch.
That wasn't worth 2 months. Oh no. No. Turn.
It's not great, but it works. And I made a good aimbot without cheating will have to be a future video. Regardless, just because this bot is a noob it doesn't mean we can't have fun.